Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel and welcome back to a little series I'm doing as I go back and look at Kickstarters that I've backed, 15 at a time, and see where they are at this point in time, and if I, what I think about them, or even if I'd gotten them. So I do want to talk about that briefly. If you're watching this, you need to know that I recorded this video a few months ago in preparation. We record stuff ahead of time. So there's a couple of things I talk about here where a couple projects I have not gotten yet. I may actually have them in my hands by the time you watch this. But I don't think that excuses how long it took me to get them. Doesn't matter. Let's get started. Here are the 15 projects for today. So first we're going to start with Plunderbund. Now I was actually pretty pumped about this when I saw this. It has these little characters here, this board, deck building. You're placing these workers around the board, and I gotta say, this game was a big fat I didn't like this one at all. The deck did not play very well for me. There was a lot of interesting things there. Not only did I not like this, I haven't heard much about this at all. So let's take a look at where this stands on Board Game Geek, because I know I didn't like it. I gave it a 4.5. It seems to, look at the ratings for it. Now, do remember that Kickstarter ratings tend to go up. Yeah, this person says luck everywhere, and holy cow, does it take long to finish. That's true. Do realize that Kickstarter games tend to skew high because people want to justify their purchase, but this one doesn't seem to have gotten any kind of buzz. So I'm giving this one a thumbs down. All right, Carnival Zombie. Well, this is one of the ones I talked about at the beginning. I don't yet have Carnival Zombie. It says it's being shipped right now. We'll see. This one was supposed to be shipped November 2019, so it's slightly late. At this point in time, 2.5 years late. But I'm hoping to have it by this point. I liked Carnival Zombie, the first one. It's a lot of fun. In fact, I believe they have, they quoted me here. Yes, one of the best cooperative games I've ever played. Probably the best zombie game I've ever played. Well, when I said one of the best cooperative games I've ever played, that's probably 2 or 3 years prior to that. So I've played many more since then. I still think this is a very good one. The best zombie game I've ever played, that may not be true, but it's definitely up in the top ones. This is that kind of game where you're here, you can see this board, you're in the middle of the board, zombies are coming at you, and you're like, da, 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 with machine guns and stuff. I think it's very fun. I would like to see the second printing, but I can't really say anything about this other than we don't have the game yet. So I'm excited to see what happens when it comes. I've just really, honestly, until now, I just don't think about it very much. So we'll give this a thumbs pending. All right, Fujikoro Deluxe. Oh, I was really pumped about this one. This is a deluxe version from Game Brewer. And in this one, the idea was it's a dungeon crawl, but in a Japanese setting and with dragons and stuff. I'm on board. And then the other big draw to this was you have these, you can see here, these boards, and you can put little cubes on those boards and build weapons. That's awesome. Well, here's the deal. Building those weapons doesn't really matter. It's like I think it's supposed to give you kind of a Minecraft feel, but it doesn't really matter how you build them. There's some minor things. That was a big letdown. The game's too long. It's too complex for what it is. Has cool miniatures. It's a huge box full of content, but it's kind of a everyone get in, kill a few things, and get out. Kind of like a Clank feeling to it. It just was a big disappointment for me, unfortunately. So this is getting a thumbs down. Then we have Double Six Dice Generation 2. Oh, I love Double Six Dice. Thumbs up right here. I'll say it at the beginning. These are fantastic. They're a little pricey. You can see here I pledged $41 to get 52 dice. But I like Double Six Dice because they're 12-sided dice, but they have 1 through 6 on them twice. I would rather these than 6-sided dice anytime. They roll better. 12-sided dice roll really nice. They're fast, they're easy to read, good quality. I have nothing but good to say about these other than I would like to own thousands of these dice and replace all my 6-sided dice with them. I just can't afford that because they're so expensive. But these have done really well for me. Then we have Oceans. This is a standalone game in the Evolution series. This one was released. That's a beautiful cover. That's exactly what it looks like. All the stretch goals I got with these beautiful fish. These are actually like the normal fish. Maybe then they have these upgraded fish with those symbols on, but then there was even nicer fish than that. I think I got some translucent fish. The artwork in this game is just gorgeous. This is very similar to Evolution. It's very much in your face. You're evolving, trying to evolve your underwater species. But what this game has is very specific upgrades and evolutions that you can do that nobody else can get. You can get some of the basic stuff. Here's these translucent fish. It says the final version may look even better as they'll smooth bevel edges. They do look fantastic. This is in the Dice Tower library. I think this is a very fun game. I like it better than Evolution, but I think part of that, I think it's a little more convoluted to play than Evolution slightly, but I just like the ocean theme that much. So thumbs up from me. Crumbs. So the idea of Crumbs here, let's see if you can get past that artwork, is you're going to drop a bunch of cubes, crumbs, onto this park, and then you're one of the groups, pigeons or ducks or squirrels, going in there trying to get them. Fantastic. That's a cool idea. The game's terrible. This is a big thumbs down for me, mostly because for some reason, in this game, you move your pigeons and squirrels and what are they, chipmunks and ducks all over the park, and then you drop the cubes. You don't even know where they go. It's like fighting over stuff before it lands. It's just, I don't get it. It is an incredibly random game. I did not like this one at all. I wanted to like it because it looks fun, the game itself. Again, I don't think the art's fantastic, but the idea of the game sounded like a lot of fun. Sorry, Michael Wright says, I think it's going to be a hit. I think you're wrong there, Mr. Wright. It was not a hit. So yeah, unfortunate. Not for me. Freedom, Insurgents vs. Empire, second printing. I got this one to put into the Dice Tower library, and then I've never actually played it. I don't know if I sent this to another reviewer, or if it's still on our shelf, or if I just grabbed it and stuck it into the library. But it looks like a more simplistic war game, so this is one I think that I would actually play. Yeah, I guess this one just hasn't made it to the shelf, so this is kind of a thumbs unknown at this point in time. Freshwater Fly, a strategic fly fishing game. So I never played the original game of fishing from this company, but this one, I was like, oh yeah, I'll try this. A dice, what do they call it? Thematic dice drafting and set collecting game. So you have these dice, you're moving your fishing thing around, trying to collect these different fish. I don't know what it is about the fishing theme that attracts me to this one, but I gotta say, for me, this one was merely okay. I did not find it, I thought it dragged out a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I like a lot of the ideas in it. It was just okay. But, you know, despite that, I still did put it in Dice Tower Library. I like the components for it. I like how it looks. And I think some people might play it just based on the theme alone. So this one is a thumbs meh. All right, Blood on the Clocktower. This is the other one. This estimated delivery here says May, June 2022. Okay, so maybe I have it by the time you watch this video. But here on the side, estimated delivery, January 2020. Actually, I'm pretty sure that they originally had said that that was going to be out by November 2019. Either way, we are 2 years past. This one's a little weird to me that it took so long because it's a social deduction game. It's literally this box with components, you know, these tokens in it. People have been begging me to play this game, and, you know, over and over and over again. I just can't. It's not out yet, you know, so I'm not going to play the game until it's out. And somehow Blood on the Clocktower has done this amazing thing where they've gotten people that got shut up and sit down to give them a review while they were on Kickstarter. That's the only time I can think of that Shut Up and Sit Down did that. They got people who go around and teach this game everywhere. It's like an alternative to Werewolf. They're doing all this, and then the game's not even out. That's very impressive that they've done this. I expect this game will probably sell well when it comes out, despite beyond the people who backed it on Kickstarter. We'll see. I mean, at some point, I will play this game. I just am waiting for it to come, and as of me recording this, it's not shown up yet. All right, Valley of the Kings Premium from AEG. So Valley of the Kings is a little deck building game where you are building a deck of cards of like artifacts and things, and then you're going to bury some of these cards. And when the cards are in your deck, they do things, but you want to bury them for points and pull them out of your deck. So it's a very small little card game. deck building game. And then they made a sequel and then a third version of this. And they were all small, but they all could work together. So what this game does is it adds, I think, a few more things and sticks them all in one box. I like it. Thumbs up from me. I thought the $50 here that they charged very reasonable, and I did stick this one in the Dice Tower library. They got my original review here and my review of the second one. And probably by the time this came out, I reviewed the third one, and then I think I reviewed this one. So I like this deck building game. It's one that doesn't get talked about a lot, but I think it's a pretty strong one. Ignite, tabletop miniature board game. This one was pretty late, I think. It said May 2020. Well, yeah, I didn't get this till last year at some point. This one's a lot of miniatures mixed with a deck builder, and I gotta be honest, it just fell so flat for me because the miniature part of this game is really boring. You run very, very slowly at each other across the field. Not a good looking field. You hit each other. The deck building's not interesting, especially archery, because you need to pull a bow and the arrows in your hand to shoot at the opponents. I thought it was also unbalanced. There's a lot of problems I have with this one. I really wanted to like it, and it just doesn't do anything for me here. I know some people enjoy it. People who watched my review have certainly got feedback of people who do love the game. That's fantastic, but especially considering this all-in pledge that I pledge here, that's very pricey for a game that I do not like. And I've learned now for games that I don't know much about that I will pay less on my initial pledge. So just get the base game first to see if I like it or not. Rome. This is by Ryan Lockett. And this is kind of an automatic thing. I mean, Ryan Lockett's stuff is great. This is a smaller two-player game where you're putting these little squares on a board. I've never played this game. When this came in, other reviewers grabbed it. It seems like almost half the people at Dice Tower played this game, and I have not. It's just not got to the table for me. I like his big giant games. I play them happily. I'm grabbing them and getting them to the table as fast as I can. But this particular one, for no reason, just hasn't made it to the table, and every time I have an opportunity to play it, there's been more than 2 people. So I will get this one out. I'm sure this one's fantastic. I'm going to give this a preemptive thumbs up because Ryan's stuff is that good. Dungeology, the Expedition. Now this, I believe, is from Ares. It says Ludus Magnus Studio, but I believe Ares did this one. This is a cooperative style game, I think. You're like an adventurer going out and finding monsters. Really cool miniatures here. I felt like it was a nice difference there, and it's terrible. It's terrible. There's a lot of terrible games in this group of 15. One of the worst things is the rules are like incomprehensible practically in many ways. I was just very disappointed by this one. You moved around and you rolled dice, and I haven't heard much about this one at all, honestly. I haven't heard people talking about it or anything. So I guess I'm probably not alone on this one, but I'm not particularly impressed with it. All right, Anachrony, Fractures of Time expansion in Infinity Box. So this one was supposed to deliver in March 2020. I think it came out a year later than that. Although at this point, I'm not really holding this against games. But yeah, this is a big giant box of Anachrony. I'll tell you this, it took forever to sort the stuff into this box. And I like Anachrony, but I think this box is intimidating. Now, I've heard people say it's easy to pull everything out and play. I have not played Anachrony from this box yet. I do like Anachrony. I think it's a great time travel worker placement game. And so a big box is fine, although this box is pretty huge. And this company, Mind Clash, I mean, their latest box came in, the dinosaur one, and that's also gigantic and huge. I guess that's kind of their thing at this point in time. But I like how this looks. I think it's fantastic. And I'll give it a thumbs up. I guess I put it in the library. But I'll tell you what, it's also a thumbs intimidated. And then last one here is Terraforming Mars Turmoil. So this is an expansion for Terraforming Mars, which basically adds politics to that. I know some people are like, nah. Well, it's fine. It's probably the last expansion I would add to Terraforming Mars. If I'm going to play Terraforming Mars, I always play Prelude. I'll probably play Venus or one of the other planet boards. I will likely play Colonies if I can. It does add more stuff to the game. But this one, while I didn't dislike it, there's a lot of cool things about it, I just don't play with all the time. I would argue that it should win Expansion of the Year, says Caleb. Well, it didn't. So there's that. These quotes are more interesting to read in retrospect, right? But a lot of people do like this one. A lot of people have played this expansion, but I don't know that this expansion has like swept it. Like Terraforming Mars people, which is a fantastic game, there's a lot of cool expansions. I think this is probably one of the least played ones just because it adds enough rules and it's a little fiddly moving stuff around. But there are some good aspects to it. I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't know how much more I'm going to play it. Decent price here though, $34 for that. So that, folks, is 15 more games from Kickstarter. It's interesting to see how these worked. Let me know what you think of these 15. Which ones did you back? Which ones do you think were worth it? Which ones do you think weren't worth it? Where was I most wrong? Do you have blood in the Clocktower when you see this? Maybe you do. I hope so. Anyhow, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.